year is nearing an end. How's your referral count? What are you doing to encourage your friends, family, and clients to send you business? What's happening? I'm J.C Agajanian, broker associate with the Whissel Realty Group at eXp, covering for you the Fast Forward Movements Monday morning mastermind as we do every week. Today we have two primary topics we covered with the hundreds of agents across the nation where people raise questions they could use help with and things they're working inside their business, and the community surrounds them with lots of experience and sharing with what they've done to help solve these problems in the past. So today we covered two great ones. First of all, getting referrals from your past clients or your friends and family, your sphere of influence. And of course, the second one is covering the topic of email newsletters. How often should we send them out? What sort of format should we use? What kind of content are we going to have? All that stuff we will be diving into shortly. But first, let's get into this referral business that we talked about. The first things first is we need to basically let people know that we care and that we're staying in touch with them. That's the biggest thing about these, getting referrals in the first place. And it actually dovetails into the newsletter conversation that we're going to have in a minute. But we want to share that we care and stay in touch with them, not be forgotten as the person that helped them buy or sell that house, right? So staying in touch with them. What are you doing? One thing that we talked about doing was derived from the concept that Gary Vee put together in his book, and it's the jab, 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 right hook. And the concept behind that is that you want to give, right? You want to be jabbing with value. You want to be jabbing with offerings. You want to be jabbing with support and help. Right? So that's what you're jabbing with. And then every once in a while, the right hook is the ask. You ask for that referral. You ask for a post of some sort or a share, or, somehow you're asking for the business, right? So a lot of this conversation was couched in the jabs. How are we offering value? Because that's honestly what's going to get these people engaged with us as the person that helped them buy that house and keep us top of mind when they have these conversations and when a referral opportunity arises. So one of the great ways to uphold these jabs we want to offer is quarterly events. We do them with our company without fail. Every quarter we're doing something very cool. And as a reminder, we've talked about this a bunch. It is not necessarily about what we are doing for this quarterly event. The quarterly events are reasons to reach out with a jab. Right? We're reaching out with an offering of something for free. You're going to have a nice conversation with them while you're at it. They're probably going to thank you for the invitation. And you might even get around to a real estate conversation throughout this process. Do you have any plans for 2024 for real estate or whatever? If the answer is no, that's cool. Let them know that if they have someone that they might want to send your way, the best way to do it is X, Y, and Z. I think the best way to do it is to ask them to start a group text with the person they want to refer and yourself on the other line, and them sending it to you. This way, it's a warm handoff, right? The person sending the referral is actually giving you their phone number, even though they may not think about it that way, but they're giving you their phone number and name, and they're making an introduction, and the first few lines of communication are going to be on this group text before you take it offline to make a phone call or a one-on-one text with the prospective client. Like I said, it doesn't really matter what exactly you do for these quarterly events, but what matters is that you do them regularly, right? Keep consistent. If you're doing a Christmas or a wintertime event every year, do it around the same time and maybe even do the same type of thing every year so people get accustomed to expecting that. And the most important thing, like I said, is to send an invitation in the mail, send an email out, and send a text message as a reminder as it gets closer to the event. But in between there, have the phone conversation. Invite them to the event and allow that conversation go where it will. This is so much more powerful than anything else we do, or even getting the chance to really chit-chat at the event itself, because frankly, you're probably going to have a lot of people there and not get to really have a meaningful conversation at the event. It's all about the phone call leading up to it. And so, like I said, it doesn't really matter what it is you do, but we've got some great ideas just in case, because we have been doing these for years. So we just finished up a pie giveaway combined with photos with Santa. We regularly do a big blowout barbecue in the summertime, usually early summer every year that we will do. We haven't done this, but we've heard of another agent having great success with a social media contest online for gingerbread house making. So they use your social platform to submit the gingerbread house that they did. The photos are there, the explanation from the kid or the family that did it. That's kind of interesting. We also follow up on a little more of a farming play than necessarily a referral and past client play, but we do food drives, we do clothing drives. We even offer to come around and pick up Christmas trees right around New Year's time or so, in the event that the local trash or green waste collection services don't deal with those Christmas trees for you, right? Other things we've done is rent out a whole movie theater and show a new blockbuster movie. We have done Easter egg hunts in the spring with photos with the Easter bunny for the kids, and like kind of an early morning donuts and mimosa thing for the adults. We've done lots of things, but like I said, all of those are great ideas. None of them as important as you having conversations with people that you've worked with before that might otherwise not find a reason to talk with you at all. Another great thing to think about once you've actually received that referral from someone is a system that Michael J. Mayer actually put forth in his book, 7 Levels of Communication. He's got an idea in his book called the Great Traceback. And really it's brilliant. And it's basically a system of calls to each person in the chain of that referral when you receive one. So let's say Joe refers Nancy. So of course you're going to make contact with Nancy. You're going to get the ball rolling with a new client. And then you're going to call Joe and you're going to thank him directly for the referral of Nancy. But Joe may have been a referral himself, or he may have been a connection that you received somehow through another friend. So you're going to go the next level to maybe Steve, whoever connected you with Joe. And if it was someone else that connected you with Steve, you're going to take that level back as well. And as many people as you can think of to call up and thank for the referral, you're going to do it. Going one step beyond the person who actually referred Nancy here, they're not going to know what you're talking about. What do you mean referral? I didn't give you any referral. Why are you thanking me for a referral? And you just, hey, you know what? Well, you introduced me to so-and-so, who introduced me to Steve, who introduced me to Joe, who just made an introduction to Nancy, and you guys are all intertwined, and I just want to share my gratitude, my appreciation for playing your part in making this happen for me. It's going to be meaningful to me in my business and my bottom line this month. It's something to that effect. The Great Retrace actually fosters kind thoughts and feelings because you're literally reaching out to someone and thanking them for something that they don't really think they did, even though they did play a part in that. But more importantly, you're creating more awareness surrounding the concept of a referral and how important it is to your business. You're letting everybody involved to know that this new opportunity is important to you and you really appreciate it. So taking that thought a step further, we can also jump on social media and we can give this person praise in a public way, thanking them for the referral they gave out. Same concept applies. We also are now in a public way on our social media platforms, giving thanks to somebody who gave a referral. We're creating awareness to everyone that these referrals are important and that we find them so much so important that we're taking the time to make a post and talk about it online. The more we talk about it, the more people are going to be aware of it, and they're going to naturally think, oh, maybe I know someone who I can send their way as well. Don't overlook the gifts. Gifting is a regular part of my business, and it should be part of yours as well. There's all kinds of different things you can do, specifically life events. And one agent spoke up this morning. She was saying that she has predetermined ideas for specific life stages. For example, she knows that when she spots a marriage in any of her sphere or client database that happens online, or she just catches wind of it somehow, she already knows what she's going to get them. She's got someone on order. She's going to personalize a cutting board, I think is what it is. And she's going to, she's got a certain packaging, a presentation, and a way of delivering that gift that's the same every single time she sees somebody in her world that's getting married. And the same type of thing applies to if someone gets pregnant or has a baby. She's already knows. She's got a pacifier clip. She's going to get it engraved with the baby's name on it. She knows where she's going to get that done, how much it's going to cost her, and how she's going to get it out to the person. If you're going to do something once and you realize that it's probably going to happen again, make a system out of it. One thing I have taken to, which really helps with my larger database that I've got, the busyness that I find myself dealing with on a regular basis, is to hire a company that really specializes in this. So there's this company called Client Giant that I've been working with for a long time. I don't have any affiliate links for them or anything, but they do a great job with different plans of how often and what type of gifts you want to send to your database, and you can add and remove people from that list quickly and easily. It's a monthly fee, it's ongoing, but they get the gifts in any cadence you want. I think I've got people receiving quarterly gifts. And then if you wanted to, you could have transaction specific gifts. So once you enter a transaction, you can have things that relate to the different deadlines within a transaction, or you could do more life event type stuff as well, like Christmas gifts and anniversaries and different things. So lots of customizability going on with Client Giant, or you can just create your own systems and have it in place with maybe a personal assistant or something like that to get it done. But the busier you get, the harder it's going to be to gift and gift well. So keep that in mind and come up with some sort of system that works for you. Always come up with something that you can do to reward the behavior when you do get that referral. So my little system is I always, without question, as fast as I possibly can, get some sort of smaller gift card out to my friend or other client that I've worked with, sending me somebody new to have an introduction. This could look like something that I know they enjoy, or maybe a simple $20 or $25 Starbucks gift card. Whatever it is, it's a handwritten note expressing my gratitude and a gift card that goes out right away. So no matter what happens with that referral, if it falls on its face, nobody ever transacts, if they end up hating me for some reason, not likely, but whatever happens, they are thanked with a handwritten note showing that it's heartfelt, it means something to me, and a little something for your trouble. Here, go get some free coffee or whatever it is. Now, we do that on the front end. Then, if and when we actually close escrow with that referred client, now it's time to gift the referrer again. So actually, they get that little note up front, and this could be several months later, or it could be 1 month later, but whenever that referred client actually transacts, of course, we're going to gift the client some nice closing stuff, make sure they know they are appreciated, but we're also going to circle back to the person who referred that client and give them something a little more substantial than a simple $25 gift card. We're going to give them either a night out, or a gift card to a nicer restaurant, or maybe I will take them out with me myself to a restaurant. But we're going to do something a little more significant. If I know there's something around the house that they want, maybe I'll pick that up. But this is going to be more costly, more impactful, because we actually closed escrow and got a paycheck from that client. So no matter what they do, they always get a thank you with something showing appreciation up front. And then with the closing, we reinforce that behavior again with something maybe unexpected, which is a pretty cool way to go about it. Speaking of closing gifts and showing your appreciation to the actual client who transacted, there's more than one way you can go about that. And what we found is the more personal, the more interactive, the better. Of course, gift cards or physical gifts are great. But one thing I have done for a long time is actually help to sponsor a housewarming party for the buyer, assuming this is a buyer, not a seller that moved into a property. It's a very easy touch to connect with the lender, whether they are your preferred lender or just someone that you got introduced to through this client. Connect with them, explain what you want to do. You want to throw a housewarming party, and that you want to physically be there when the party takes place. It's important. This is a great way to do something for this new homeowner that may not already do it. They've probably got their hands full moving and getting all the transition stuff going, so it might not happen right away. But the thing that I like to do is offer to take it all off their plate. We will handle the invitations, we will handle the caterer, we will handle all the logistics. And as a matter of fact, by doing all that, we actually get a bunch of contact information as well. Now, we have to be very careful with that because we don't want to be gross. We don't want to be seen as exploiting this list of friends and family that our client just gave us. But we do now have the ability to send messages to them directly, inviting them to the party, and we can also let them know who we are and how we're involved so that it's not a weird email. This is a great first touch to all this new sphere of influence for that specific client that we just helped, and now they're being exposed to us. And the first way that they're being exposed to us is by us doing something nice for their friend or family member. We're going to wrap it right there for referrals and move on to newsletters. Of course, like I said in the beginning, these two subjects do dovetail quite nicely in with one another because, as I started in the beginning talking about referrals from your sphere of influence, your friends and family and clients you've worked with in the past, just staying in touch with them is a huge first step. And these newsletters are basically mandatory in this day and age. I mean, you've got to be reaching out all the time. And not only that, you have to figure out a way to cut through the clutter because people's inboxes are inundated. And to be honest, the days of the paper newsletter, maybe they're not gone, but they are mostly behind us. I physically sent out newsletters earlier in my career. I took it to a digital format a long time ago, and most other people do. The main reason I want to do that, of course, is for scalability. It gets costly and laborious to send out physical papers in the mail. You can outsource services to do it. It usually ends up being a lot less personal doing it that way. But the most important reason I like to do digital newsletters on a regular basis is because of video. I want to use video to communicate my message more so than the written word or photos or anything else. So get your newsletter game up and get it going. What kind of cadence are we talking about? As much as you can handle and keep it consistent. I mean, if you've got nothing going on now, start with at least a monthly newsletter and get it out. But a lot of people are doing this every single week. So get in where you fit in, figure it out. But the recommendation is to use video and to be consistent. Okay, and that's universal. That doesn't just come from the people in the Monday morning mastermind. It's all over the place. You can talk to any real estate coach and they're going to say, yeah, you should already be doing that. As far as logistics go, don't use your personal email or even your own CRM that you're working out of to send these. You've got to use a third party like MailChimp to actually send the messages out. Okay, it's fine if people want to unsubscribe, they're not interested in this content, it's going to happen all the time. But if you use your CRM or if you use your personal email, your email could be marked spam and you're not going to be able to use it for day-to-day communication with people. And if you're using your CRM, then all the regular communications like property notifications or other things that you're pushing out through your CRM are going to be unsubscribed to as well. So if you don't like MailChimp, there's other great ones. You could use Constant Contact. Viral is really cool. You could use Emma, you could use Brevo. There's lots of different sources out there that you can use. But just keep it personal, put some thought into it, and preferably use video. What kind of content are we going to put in these videos and newsletters? Well, try and figure out how to cover things that people care about. And like I said more than once already, keep it personal so they know it's coming from you and coming from your voice and not some canned service that you have hired to just check a box and get information out there. Make them light. And what I mean by light is not lighthearted, which they ought to be, but I mean the actual digital imprint of the email that you are sending out to your database. If you've got images, reduce the file sizes of those images. If you've got text, keep it brief. Use a link to take people away from your inbox. Sounds kind of weird. Usually you want to keep people where they're at, but what we're trying to do is actually drive people to another location, preferably your YouTube page. Cool tip that'll help with openability is to maybe consider using an incomplete sentence in the subject line and then just pick it up in the text field below. Again, we're keeping it light, so maybe the subject says the beginning of a sentence, the content has the rest of the sentence, and then maybe a sentence or two more explaining what's in the video, and that's it. Get them to click the link. That's the whole goal. Maybe a little bit lower, a short line, making some sort of offer, like find out what your home is worth, and then they can click to go to either Fellow or HomeBot, whichever one you're using to keep people updated on their home's value and give them other options regarding their equity. Catch the eye, be interesting, be personal, and be light with the email. Those are some great tips with your email newsletter. Other content ideas, I mean, you can just find out what is going on in your neighborhood. Where is your farm and what are local events that are taking place? Are there new restaurants that are in town, or is there an old restaurant that you've never tried before and you went and checked it out and you liked it? Do a quick review, do market updates, look for deals of the month and find places that were homes for sale that are in your farm that seem like a good deal, and save that and put it up there. There's lots of different things you can do. I actually love stealing ideas from Keeping Current Matters. It's a service I paid for, and they are a ready for you to be used content provider, but I don't want to always be cluttering my feed with stuff that looks kind of mass produced. So while I do use their content from time to time, more often than not, I'm actually taking that idea, and instead of just making a post with what it says, I'm using that and creating it a video on that subject itself. So kind of same info that I'm paying for, but I'm taking it and personalizing it with a video of my own. Another great idea, if you want to mix it up and have maybe a link to a video and in addition, some sort of actual reading being done by the people that you're sending this to. If you want to make an article for people to read, there's an AI bot for that. Right? So there's a website called allright.ai, and you can take any video you've made, or you can take a social media post or short clip, and it will turn that video back into a written article so that you can edit it and use it for a newsletter. And now it seems as though you've taken the time to write out a whole piece on some subject, but actually it's just a video you've already made. You didn't have to think about it that much except for to prepare for the video, and then now you've got this nice written piece to send out as well. So consider using allright.ai as well. In the end, like anything we do inside our real estate business, we have to think about the intentionality behind it. Why are we doing this? It's not just because you saw some guy online saying you need to be doing newsletters and you realize that you needed to be doing them for a long time and you just feel like you ought to, right? That's not a good reason to make newsletters. It might be a good reason to give you a kick in the pants if you've already got a more meaningful reason, so go do it. What are you trying to accomplish, right? What is the goal you actually have and the reason for the newsletter? The answer should pop to mind immediately. More deals. I'm trying to make more money here. Of course. But it's more nuanced than that, right? So you're trying to engage sellers. You're trying to engage buyers. So let's speak directly to sellers and let's speak directly to buyers within the context of our newsletter. Maybe we break it up by focusing 1 week on a seller piece of content and 1 week on a buyer piece of content. Or maybe every time we put a newsletter out, we have one for each. Somehow, some way, speak to people where they're at and realize that the same person could be in a different camp depending on where they're at in the life cycle of their buying and selling habits, right? Everybody moves and buys and sells on average 5 to 10 years or whatever the most recent data point is. So they're going to move in and out of whatever camp we think we've got them in now. So we have to always be speaking to everybody in all situations through our newsletters so that it actually has some sort of meaning to them. Once you get a real identity and personality and a thought process behind this newsletter, and you're very clear on what it is that you want to be offering and delivering to your friends, family, past clients, etc., you can kind of give it a name and explain in concise words what it is you're doing with this newsletter. And now you can actually make a pitch in your email signatures, in your socials, in your link trees, wherever you have it, to say, if you want X, Y, and Z, subscribe to our newsletter. And now it's actually something of value. Believe it or not, there are a wide variety of newsletters that people seek out and actively opt into, as opposed to being put on lists without asking and opting out all the time. So depending on what sort of value you're offering, what kind of content you're putting out, people may be happy to actually opt in without any prompting to that newsletter. That's going to do it for us today. I hope that you have found some value in what we talk about here. I hope you found something that you can implement into your business and take action to move the needle for you. And as usual, I am happy to chat with you about any of the things we talked about today, or any specific issues or hurdles you may be coming across in your business. Send me a message right here, and I look forward to talking to you soon.